Picture this. You arrive at work on a perfectly ordinary Tuesday. The emails are answered faster than usual. The report is drafted before the coffee cools. The junior analyst, the paralegal, the coder, the support rep, the radiology admin clerk, they all feel a faint pressure, like someone has entered the room without opening the door. That, my friend, is AI in 2025 and rolling into 2026. Not a robot kicking the front gate in, but a quiet operator slipping through every side entrance in the building. And the clever bit, the dangerous bit, is that it rarely takes the whole job at once. It takes the pieces. One task here, two there. Soon, the map of work is redrawn, and most people don't notice until their desk is standing on different ground. Now let's keep our heads. The lazy story is AI replaces jobs. Bit dramatic, bit rubbish, at least as a blanket claim. A lot of the serious labor market research over the last couple of years points to something more precise. Task exposure is not the same as job extinction. Jobs are bundles, messy little grab bags of writing, checking, deciding, persuading, scheduling, soothing, fixing, escalating, and sometimes just dealing with Steve from procurement. Generative AI and newer agent systems are very good at some of those tasks, ordinary at others, and still a bit wobbly on the ones that need judgment, accountability, physical dexterity, or trust. That matters because the jobs with the highest exposure are often not the ones people used to fear. It's not only routine factory or clerical work. A lot of recent analyses from international institutions, consulting surveys, academic papers, and company earnings calls, if we're being honest, keep landing on the same uncomfortable detail. Many educated white-collar roles are highly exposed. Analysts, accountants, software developers, customer support teams, legal assistants, marketers, tutors, administrators, even bits of medicine and finance. Anywhere language, pattern matching, document handling, or standard workflow dominates, AI has found a foothold. Funny old world, eh? We spent years assuming the university-trained crowd were safely upstairs while automation haunted the warehouse. Turns out the ghost learned to read, write, code, summarize meetings, and answer policy questions in a polite tone. But exposure is uneven. A nurse is exposed on paperwork, not on lifting a patient or spotting something wrong in a face. A lawyer is exposed on first draft research, not on courtroom strategy or the whispered client conversation where the real risk finally comes out. A teacher can automate quiz generation and lesson scaffolding, but not the subtle business of getting a distracted teenager to care. Where was I going with this? Oh, right. The unit of change is usually the task, then the workflow, then eventually the role. That sequence is the whole game. So if you're listening for the simple verdict, safe or doomed, you won't get it from me. Too crude. The better question is, which parts of your work are now cheap, fast, and scalable by machine, and which parts become more valuable precisely because the machine is in the room? That is the new map. Ignore it, and you're wandering through the bush at dusk in thongs. Brave, maybe. Sensible, absolutely not. Let's talk about the weapons on the table. First, generative AI, systems that can draft text, summarize documents, create images, search across piles of files, reason across long context windows, well, reason-ish, let's not get carried away, and increasingly operate across voice, video, and software tools in one flow. Second, coding systems. Far better at autocomplete now, but also at debugging, test generation, refactoring, documentation, and building modest applications from plain English prompts. Third, AI agents, software that can take a goal, break it into steps, use tools, retrieve information, and sometimes act semi-autonomously inside a defined workflow. Fourth, robotics, which is slower in the physical world, but steadily improving where perception, navigation, picking, inspection, and repetitive movement can be constrained. The office is feeling it first, because language is the raw material. In software, teams report real gains on narrow tasks, boilerplate code, migrations, test coverage, bug triage, while also complaining, quite fairly, that sloppy AI output can create review debt. So productivity rises for some work, then leaks away in verification. The latest debate is not, does it help, but for whom, on which tasks, under what management? Juniors may move faster on easy tasks, but seniors become more essential because someone must judge architecture, security, reliability, and whether the machine has confidently invented nonsense. Hiring is shifting too. Some firms appear to be slower to hire for entry-level writing-heavy or coding-heavy roles, when AI can stretch existing teams further. Other firms are hiring differently. Fewer pure executors, more people who can manage systems, supervise outputs, and combine domain expertise with AI fluency. There's chatter, some of it backed by early data, some of it still just smoke, that job postings are changing language around prompting, automation, AI tooling, evaluation, and workflow orchestration. Not every company, not every sector. Uneven, again, always uneven. Customer service is being rebuilt from the front desk inward. AI handles the first wave, humans catch the complex, emotional, or high-stakes cases. In healthcare, transcription, coding, prior authorization paperwork, image triage, scheduling, and patient messaging are moving fastest, while diagnosis and treatment remain heavily supervised because the cost of being wrong is, well, blood on the carpet levels of unacceptable. Law is seeing pressure on discovery, drafting, contract review, and research, education on lesson prep, feedback drafts, tutoring support, and admin. Finance on summarization, compliance support, fraud review, research assistance, and client service automation. And robotics? Warehouses, inspection, agriculture, hospitals, logistics, places where the environment can be made predictable. General-purpose humanoids make headlines, sure, but the practical wins still come from narrower deployments. Bit like my old trail bike in the shed, the glamorous rebuild gets the photo, but the real progress is fixing one stubborn component at a time. The big organizational effect may be the quietest one. Fewer handoffs. If AI compresses drafting, analysis, search, scheduling, and coordination into one person's workflow, companies may flatten certain layers, speed decisions, and expect broader spans of control. Lovely for margins. Less lovely if you were counting on the old apprenticeship ladder to teach you the trade. So what becomes more valuable when routine cognitive labor gets cheaper? Judgment, taste, verification, domain depth, communication that actually changes minds, relationship management, ethical discernment, problem framing, the ability to ask a better question, not just produce a faster answer. Also, cross-functional fluency. The person who understands the business process, the customer pain, the compliance constraint, and the AI toolchain in one head, that person becomes awkwardly important. But let's not perfume the corpse. There are risks. Inequality can widen if top performers use AI to become absurdly productive while everyone else is trapped doing oversight scraps. Bias can spread faster when bad models are embedded into hiring, lending, policing, healthcare admin, or performance review systems. Workplace cohesion can weaken if teams interact more with dashboards than with one another. And early career disruption is real enough to worry about. If the beginner tasks are automated away, how do people learn the craft? How do you become senior if the ladder's missing the first 4 rungs? I'm not saying the sky is falling. I am saying you'd be wise to check the exits. Here's a practical survival framework. 3 moves. First, audit your tasks. Not your job title, your tasks. Make a scrappy list. What do you do every week? Drafting, scheduling, reporting, coding, reconciling, checking, interviewing, escalating, persuading, documenting. Then mark each one. Automate, accelerate, augment, or defend. Automate means the machine can mostly do it. Accelerate means it gives you a head start. Augment means it helps, but you remain central. Defend means human trust, physical presence, judgment, or accountability make you hard to replace. Second, learn the tools that touch your workflow directly. Not every tool. That's how you end up cooked. Pick 2 or 3. Maybe a general assistant, a meeting or document tool, and a domain-specific system for coding, legal review, medical admin, finance, whatever your patch is. Use them on live work. Measure where they save time, where they fail, and what verification they require. If you can't explain the failure modes, you do not understand the tool. Full stop. Third, build your human advantage on purpose. Get better at interviewing clients, running meetings, making decisions under uncertainty, writing with a point of view, spotting edge cases, and translating between technical and non-technical people. Become the person who can supervise the machine and calm the room. That's not fluff. That's leverage. The future of work isn't a massacre. It's a redistribution of value, speed, and bargaining power. Some roles expand, some shrink, some split in two. If you treat AI like a passing fad, you'll be negotiating from weakness. If you treat it like a collaborator that must be managed, audited, and occasionally slapped on the wrist, you've got a fighting chance. That's the brief. Keep your tools sharp, keep your judgment sharper, and I'll see you next time. Try not to let the machine do all your thinking, yeah?